of Broadway mainly centers around Rodgers and Hammerstein, but that's just my opinion and you can't take it to the bank. Because everybody else got into the act immediately afterwards. Frank Loesser grew up with a brother who was a concert pianist, and he didn't think he had any musical talent until he wrote a song during World War II that he said he based on the words of an army chaplain when Pearl Harbor happened. And the song was, "Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition." And when they asked this chaplain about it, he said, "I probably said, oh my God." But he goes down in history as saying, "Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition." Well, after that was a big hit, Frank Loesser realized that he did have some musical talent after all. And he wrote a show called Guys and Dolls. And Guys and Dolls was once again a complete departure from everything that had ever happened on Broadway. It was set on, in a Times Square that never actually existed. It's all these bright neon colors and all the characters are bright neon people. And the guys are all gamblers and the women, well, you know, except for one. And she's a Salvation Army worker. And the main character, the main gambler, is Sky Masterson, and he's pursuing Sarah, who is the Salvation Army person, and her Salvation Army depot is about to close because they aren't making enough money. And Sky Masterson is very taken with her, and he decides that he's going to have to get her to come away with him on a weekend. And he makes a bet with his cohorts that he's going to be able to do that. And his cohorts have names like Nicely Nicely and Rusty Charlie and Nathan Detroit. I always thought, my father's name was Nathan, and I always thought, and I grew up in Detroit, and I thought, oh, this should be someone we know. Aren't we related to this person? But no, good thing too. This is one of the songs that was sung by Nathan Detroit's girlfriend, Adelaide, who has been waiting for a heck of a long time for him to marry her. He keeps promising, but somehow it just kind of never comes to pass. And she has now got this perpetual cold. And she sings, it's called Adelaide's Lament, and she sings about looking up her symptoms in a book about having a perpetual cold.
The average unmarried female, basically insecure, due to some long frustration, may react with psychosomatic symptoms difficult to endure, involving the upper respiratory tract. In other words, just from waiting around for that plain little band of gold, a person can develop a cold. You can spray her wherever you figure the streptococci lurk. You can give her a shot for whatever she's got, but it just won't work. If she's tired of getting the fisheye from the hotel clerk, a person can develop a cold. She looks it up in the book. It says here, the female remaining single, just in the legal sense, shows a neurotic tendency, see note. Chronic organic symptoms, toxic and hypertense, involving the eye, the ear, the nose, the throat. In other words, just from worrying if the wedding is on or off, a person can develop a cough. You can feed her all day with the vitamin A and the Bronco fizz, but the medicine never gets anywhere near where the trouble is. If she's kind of getting a name for herself and the name ain't his, a person can develop a cough from a lack of community
Well, Sky Masterson finally figures out that he has actually fallen in love with Sarah, and he's trying to win some money in order to save her Salvation Army depot. And so he gets together a gambling game, but for the first time in his life, he's nervous.
Why is he nervous?
Oh, because he thinks he might lose, honey. He's never gambled.
Well, no.
I put a nickel in a slot machine once, and when I pulled the arm, I was sure that I was going to be a millionaire in about 3 seconds. Oh well.
They call you Lady Luck, but there is room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out. You're on a date with me, the pickings have been lush, and yet before the evening is on, you might give me the brush. You might forget your manners, you might refuse to stay, and so the best that I can do is pray. Luck be a lady tonight, luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with, luck be a lady tonight. The gentlemen see just how late you can be. I know the way you treated other guys you've been with, luck be a lady with me. Lady never leaves her escort, it isn't fair, it isn't nice. A lady doesn't wander all over the room and then blow on some other guy's dice. Let's keep the party polite, never get out of my sight.